Good morning, my surplus addicts. Now, today I got something a little unorthodox, but I felt like it was something that y'all would really appreciate, especially those of y'all who have an interest in the series of Fallout. I guess you can call this a late April Fool's video, but today we're going to be looking at a Chinese paratrooper backpack. Now, this is the style of pack that was used from the 60s to the 80s and 90s, I do believe. And I'm using it for a costume project. I am bringing to life the Chinese commando jumpsuit and kit from the video game series of Fallout, specifically the Operation Anchorage. So, I will put up a photo in the post-recording of the commando jumpsuit so far. It's still being worked on by a seamstress, really talented lady. It's looking really good so far. So I'm going to give you all a sneak peek before it's done. But as you can see here, I got the pack, the cap, and I even got the balaclava underneath. You can see the white fabric there. So, but today we're going to mostly be exclusively focusing on the pack as well as the chest rig I put together here. So, without further ado, let's jump into the pack. Now, as you see here, I've done a few things with this pack. I've strapped a shovel to it, got a round canteen here, and even got a little storage container for food on the side here. Now, let me take the shovel off and I'll show you the extra little features I've done with it. Mostly it's just one thing, but I think y'all will enjoy it. Shovel's being a little ridiculous. But as you can see here, I've gave it a light coat of spray paint to winterize it, to make it look more like like it's being used in a snowy environment. Now, in the top flap here, which everything is secured with these straps, basically, you know, when you're jumping to keep everything straight, secured, whatever. But in the top flap here, I have put the snow cape that you saw in one of my previous videos. Then I've got a Soviet-style VDV paratrooper canteen and mess kit, very appropriate, I think. Then I've got two of these cups and some rope, just Plosh Palatka rope, basically just in case you know, you want to bed down or make a little tent out of your shelter half, which I will show you the shelter half here momentarily, as there is a actual specific slot for something like that. Although, with the Chinese military of the 60s and 80s, I'm not sure if they had really anything like a Plosh Palatka, as I've never really seen one, but it's possible. But I'm going to go ahead and put the balaclava in here with the snow cape, just to keep it from getting dirty. Now, obviously, it's a bit of a tight fit since I packed it the way I did, but with the straps, it makes it a little easier to keep everything contained. It's mostly the canteen up here. It's got that top part, but let's go ahead and right here on the back is the area with the Plosh Palatka, as you can see right here. You've seen it in many of my other videos as a background. But basically, I fold it into like a rectangle, and I slide it in here, and it provides back support. Then, the bottom is where I keep a few extra goodies as well, such as MREs. So, overall, the paratrooper backpack for the Chinese People's Liberation Army is a lot bigger than the RD-54 for the Soviet Army, as yeah, I can carry a lot more in it, I feel anyway. I also feel like it has more modularity, considering that I can also put this canteen here on the side, I can put this food container here on the side, or even anything else, really. There's even these little ties here I keep forgetting about that I can use to tie everything down if I need to, but this is a little too big. But that is the paratrooper backpack. Here's the straps on the back. Now, they're actually tied off at the bottom, which I'm not sure what the point of that is, but I guess it's to, if you need to adjust it, because there are these little rings down here, so if you're got smaller arms, bigger arms, whatever, you can basically do what you got to do to basically make it have a right fit. And I'm going to go ahead and strap this back up, show y'all how I've been doing it. There's a little fabric thing in here you got it through. Then, of course, there's the ring. I hear chickens. I guess someone's chickens are out in the woods. And, of course, the shovel. Put it through here. And then there are these little tie-offs here to secure it. And there you go. All secured. And that's the Chinese paratrooper backpack. Now, if you're wondering about the history behind it, from my understanding, it was developed in the 60s, maybe late 50s, and used through notable conflicts such as the Sino-Vietnamese border conflict, or war, or whatever. And essentially, it's compared to most communist paratrooper backpacks I've seen, which are mostly just RD-54, at least compared to that, this is a really solid bag, and I feel it's much more appropriate, and really and truly isn't a bad hiking bag if you're just packing light. Now, but basically, the reason I just chose this for the Fallout Chinese jumpsuits, because, well, obviously, in that universe, if you study Chinese military equipment like I do, you notice a lot of their gear is very 1950s, 60s inspired. However, I also decided to add a few modern things, such as the Type 07 GI belt and the Type A7 chest rig, because I felt these were appropriate for the equipment of the time, because there would still be some modern amenities, as we've seen, like the U.S. Army still using Alice belts and things like that in that universe. And I felt like this would be a pretty good version that the Chinese would probably develop in that timeline. As well as like with the Ushanka, I'm using as a Soviet style, but with the Type A7 badge. So you just see a lot of Soviet and 1980s Chinese vibes with the PLA in that universe. Now, obviously, in our current timeline, the PLA uses much more modern American-style equipment with a communist flair to it. But in the Fallout universe, it stays much closer to its Cold War roots. So I felt that it would be appropriate to incorporate some modern with some classic as well as some Soviet designs. As well as this Ushanka here is the closest to the game I could find. Now, as for the chest rig, I've put these RPK shoulder pads up here to provide I can put a radio on here, or I can put a what do you call it, a compass up here, and also it looks nifty. And I even went ahead and winterized the Type 87 chest rig, and I put snaps up here to make it more, you know, much more like it's like something that someone would use in a more modern setting. So that goes back to what I was talking about, where the uniform is more Cold War, but still somewhat modern. But if y'all have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment, and please do subscribe, support the channel, it helps it out. And with that, my surplus addicts, keep it Kushti, and y'all have a good day.